Welcome back to Dark Whispers AI. Tonight, I want to tell you a story. Not one of flying saucers or government conspiracies, but of a house. A house that whispers. A house that doesn't want to be forgotten. And once you enter it, it never lets go. It begins in autumn. Not the romantic kind of autumn, with pumpkin spice and golden leaves. This was the cold, gray, heavy kind. The kind that hangs low over your house and gets into your lungs. Michael and Lila were a young couple in their early 30s. Writers, both of them. Adventurous, curious, and just eccentric enough to think buying an old Victorian house out in rural Maine would ignite their creative souls. The house was built in 1893. It was tall, narrow, and very, very quiet. Too quiet. The first whisper came on the second night. Lila was brushing her teeth. The wind howled outside, but inside the house, the air was still. And then she heard it. A breath. Not her own. Soft. Close. Right at the back of her neck. She turned. Nothing. Michael was downstairs, setting up the office. Lila didn't say anything that night. By the end of the first week, it wasn't just breath. It was words. Whispers that came from behind doors. From empty rooms. From drains. From heating vents that hadn't worked in decades. One night, while reviewing pages in the study, Michael heard someone say his name. He looked up. Lila wasn't there. The room was still. But something had moved his mug. From one side of the desk, to the other. The dreams began next. Lila dreamt of fire. The entire second floor engulfed. A woman screaming. But the woman wasn't burning. She was smiling. Michael dreamt of a mirror. And something behind him that didn't match his reflection. Something tall. And wrong. They tried to laugh it off. Writers have wild imaginations, after all. They blamed stress, deadlines, isolation, until the cat vanished. Milo was a rescue. He never left the first floor. They found his collar 2 days later, in the locked attic. The one they didn't have the key for. The real terror began after the mirror arrived. It was part of a job lot Michael won at auction. Tall. Antique. Cracked across the middle. They put it in the hallway, just outside the bedroom. It was around then that the whispers turned into voices. And the voices said things like, "He lied. You're not alone. Don't trust her. Get out before it happens again." They came from the mirror. But never when both of them were in the room. Only when they were alone. On the 30th night, everything changed. Lila woke to the sound of footsteps on the roof. Heavy. Deliberate. She woke Michael, who grabbed a flashlight. They didn't find anyone. But when they came back downstairs, all the lights were on. All the chairs were turned to face the window. And on the foggy glass, drawn with a finger, were the words, "Let her go." That was when they called the previous owner. She hesitated at first. Then she said, they never found her body. But when Michael and Lila finally broke the attic lock, they found toys arranged in a perfect circle. And a single note. Yellowed with age. It read, "Michael and Lila sold the house within weeks. They live in an apartment now. Concrete. Bright. No shadows. But sometimes, at night, when the TV is off and the city is asleep, Michael hears his name. And the mug is on the wrong side of the table." Thanks for watching Dark Whispers AI. If this story chilled you, leave a comment and let us know. Would you have stayed, even one more night? Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories from the shadows. And remember, not all haunted houses are abandoned. Some are waiting.